mystery that we are trying to solve. So don't try to explain oneness. Just be it, feel it, know it in the depths of your heart. So the term one mind, of course, for me implies inclusiveness. And that's what our theme for this month is. However, we're pretty good at practicing exclusivity, aren't we? The forms of other individuals, others' opinions and thoughts that we don't agree with. So we practice exclusion a lot as a human. But please, again, this is not a judgment. We need to practice this and go through it so we can learn it. But the more awareness we have, again, the more gently we can go through it. Now, if the ego cannot survive once we have oneness, we understand the oneness, then you can see how that's going to change our world. And so this oneness concept starts within you, and then you express it out and take in everyone else and everything around you into your heart. And that is the beginning of the rising into that consciousness of love, which we truly are. All you have to do is follow the guidance of your heart. That is all you have to do, okay? And when you do that, you've left this egoic presence, which is always in your brain. It's not in your heart. So if you go to your heart, then you are kind of saying, ego, you're not going to have any more power over me. And that's the way it is. So, now, if oneness exists, we kind of expect to share our thoughts and emotions and physical sensations when we're not physically together. Makes sense, doesn't it? We know things about ourselves and others that we could not have learned in this lifetime. I think you've all have experienced some of this stuff. We have distant communication taking place between humans and non-humans, such as our pets. Most of you, I think, have pets, and you know exactly what I'm talking about. The large animals, or groups of animals, herds, flocks, schools, they can behave in such highly coordinated ways that shared overlapping minds are suggested. And we've all seen that. The birds, that kind of thing. The herds that we've seen. Something's going on there. We can have physical experiences with non-physical beings such as angels and ascended masters, and many of us have that. And we can find hidden objects, can't we? Where is it? And you can see it in your mind. Mm-hmm. Has anybody done that? Mm-hmm. Yes. And the list goes on. All of these possibilities are not hypothetical. They are real. And the many experiences that we have shared with individuals in the latter years of our life are showing us that. We cannot deny it anymore. It is showing us that woo-woo is something of the past. I used to be called woo-woo. I'm not called woo-woo anymore, so I guess, we're finally learning. Kind of sad, though. I kind of like being woo-woo.
Now you're a physicist.
Exactly. I want to share one quote by Larry Dossey in his book, One Mind. Highly recommend that.
I love that book.
He says that individual minds turn out to be not just individual. They are not confined or localized to specific points in space, such as brains or bodies, nor to specific points in time, such as the present. Minds, rather, are non-local with respect to space and time. This means that the separation of minds is an illusion, because individual minds cannot be put in a box or a brain and walled off from one another. Throughout history, many individuals, including eminent scientists, have glimpsed this fact. This includes Nobel physicist Erwin Schrödinger. You've all heard about him, who proclaimed there is only one mind. And David Bohm said, deep down, the consciousness of mankind is one. And Unity has a wonderful minister, Eric Butterworth, who's no longer with us here. But what he said was that, excuse me, the source of all that exists is present in its entirety at every point of existence. Same thing. We're all one. So just think about this. Where would you be if you were not part of life? There's just no place to be outside of life, because guess what? You are life. You are an expression of divine loving life. You cannot step out of that. And it is eternal. It is eternal, and it is forever evolving. That to me is extremely exciting, the things that we could create. So, within this being we call life are all of the other forms. Physical, non-physical, human, non-human. Because life is one. So we cannot have exclusivity except where? In our egoic minds. That's the only place it exists. Now I could go on forever talking about oneness. It's one of my favorite topics. However, I want to share a story with you to just point out the relationship that we have with animals. Bobby the collie. During the 1920s, a 2-year-old dog named Bobby, mostly collie with a bit of English sheepdog, became a national sensation. His owners, Mr. and Mrs. Frank Brazier, restaurant owners who lived in Silverton, Oregon, were vacationing in Indiana when Bobby got lost. Despite intense efforts to locate the dog, the Braziers could not find him. Broken-hearted, they resumed their trip westward, never expecting to see him again. 6 months later, Bobby showed up, emaciated, at the family restaurant in Oregon. He made his way up to the second-floor living quarters and jumped on the bed, awakening Frank Brazier by licking his face. And no one could believe it. When Silverton Appeal published the story, it quickly spread to newspapers across the country. The Oregon Humane Society launched an investigation into the Braziers' claims. So by interviewing people, they reconstructed Bobby's route home, which they estimated was around 2,800 miles, much of which took place in the winter. Bobby did not follow his owner's route back to Oregon, but traveled an indirect course over terrain he had never seen or could have ever seen. This was no look-alike dog. His owners were able to confirm his identity by several unique marks and scars. He became a celebrity, receiving medals, a gold collar, gifts from England, France, Australia, and America. He was given a key to the city of Vancouver, British Columbia. The Portland Board of Realtors gave him a fully appointed miniature bungalow for his home. Books were written about him. He played himself in a silent movie called The Call of the West, a reel of which is in the archives of the Oregon Historical Society Research Library. Bobby died in 1927. He was buried with honors at the Oregon Humane Society. Portland's mayor gave the eulogy. A week later, Rin Tin Tin, the German Shepherd who starred in 23 Hollywood movies, laid a wreath at his grave.
Made a wreath.
Laid a wreath at his grave. Well, I didn't cry, I almost did. So how did Bobby find his way across 2,800 miles of unfamiliar terrain? It suggests that the mind of the animal and that of its owners were part of a larger mind that permitted the sharing of information between them. There were not two separate minds communicating one to the other, but in essence, a single mind. This sharing of knowledge, whether between humans or between animals and humans, is nearly always associated with love, caring, and compassion. And this process allowed Bobby to find his way home. And Bobby's case is not unique. Listen to this. Instances abound that suggest the existence of a human-animal bond that operates across space and time. Manosch, a German cat, traveled 1,500 miles in 61 days to be reunited with his family after being lost while on vacation. An Irish soldier, his wife and their small dog Prince, resided in London. He was deployed to France, and within a few days, Prince showed up in the trenches under heavy bombardment to find his master.
Wow.
Prince had traveled through London, 70 miles of English countryside, hitched a ride across the English Channel, and then traveled over 60 miles to reach his master. Richard Feynman, physicist, said everything that animals do, atoms do. And what he was referring to was this concept of entanglement. Yes, you've heard about that. And this is a behavior in which particles, once in contact, remain linked together thereafter, no matter how far they are separated. The linkage is astonishingly intimate. A change in one is correlated with a change in the other instantly and to the same degree. Those who have pets know about this connection, don't you? I still sense my dog Abby when I'm sitting in the tub with my bubble bath, because she loved to put her head right on the edge and try to eat the bubbles. I feel her presence there so many times. And she used to walk with me, and she wanted to be so close to me, she would hit me and almost knock me over. When I'm walking, I feel that sometimes. So they're never gone. We're always connected because there's only oneness. We just can't see them right now. Consciousness precedes being, and not the other way around. And for this reason, the salvation in the human world lies nowhere else except in the human heart, because that's where we realize and sense and feel and know that oneness. The point of spirituality is not to separate oneself from the natural world and from others. Rather, it is to make one's own actions in the natural world, the ones around us, and these interactions with these ones around us in all their forms as sacred. They're sacred because there is only connection and there is only inclusion. There just cannot be anything else except in our minds. And we can control our minds. So I want to close with these words by Larry Dossey. He says, if this great earth were to speak to us, it might summon us with the words of Rumi, the luminous Sufi poet of 13th century Persia, who said, come, come, whoever you are, wanderer, fire worshiper, lover of leaving. This is not a caravan of despair. It does not matter that you have broken your vow 1,000 times. Still come, and yet again come. And then Dossey continues. And if summoned by the earth, how shall we answer? Each of us has broken our responsibilities to our earth and environment, therefore to ourselves and to others 1,000 times. Yet it is within our power to redeem our shortcomings by reclaiming our non-local nature, the one mind that unites all of us, including the earth. The one mind whose calling card is love, caring, and affection. When we sense our place in this great connect, our response is to honor that with which we are linked, as if it were our lover. This connection is eternal, no assembly required. Rumi again says, lovers don't finally meet somewhere, they're in each other all along. the love we have for each other and for all of the species of this world. Cryon teaches us that all of the other species of the world are here to support humanity. They have come here knowingly, knowing their purpose, and they're doing it with great respect for humanity. As humanity, we need to understand that and respect them back. We're learning this, but we haven't done a really good job in the past. But we are learning this. And so the next time you see any kind of animal or any other life being that's helping you, remember that. They're doing it with respect for you. So, do we want to go into meditation for just a moment? Do we have time? I have no idea what time it is.
You're good. You're
No,
good.
I'm good, okay. All right, so let's all just close our eyes for a moment. Take that deep breath that our body just loves because it helps it relax. And I want you to bring your attention to your heart, our place of wisdom. And imagine that you are breathing in and out through your heart. And now in that beautiful place, I want you to think of a special pet, a special animal, a special other species in your life that has given you such love, such appreciation, such joy. And hold that memory, whether they're here now or they passed. Just hold that in your heart. And I ask all of you today to acknowledge and affirm the truth that we are one. Each of us is woven into this beautiful tapestry of humanity and other species that we call life. Yes, we are unique, but we are united. And in our oneness, we open our hearts to the wisdom that diversity is our strength and unity is our calling. Together, we create spaces of belonging where each voice is engaged, each story is heard, and each person is embraced. Every being and our Mother Earth is embraced in our love, our justice, our peace, and our respect. Because we know that by lifting one another, we rise together. And today we especially give gratitude to the animals of our life. They are our teachers, our silent companions, and our mirrors. Their love is unconditional, their loyalty unwavering, and their innocence a reminder of the purity we often lose in our busy lives. The way we treat animals reflects the very essence of our humanity, urging us to embrace kindness and empathy in all that we do. The deepest truth is that everything is happening right now, and we have access to all that is right now. There is no out there. Until we reach this understanding, we can move towards it by expressing love and compassion towards all life. So let's just go into the silence for just a few moments. Let your heart speak to you. So when you're ready, you can bring your attention back here. pat yourselves on the back because you've just created this wonderful experience of unity, which we need not only here in Florence, in food, but everywhere. And let it guide us to do that wherever we are at any time. Now, I have prepared a class. However, with the circumstances, if we don't want to have class today, that's all right. I'll just teach it to you next time. So, whatever you want, I'm here if you want a class. Thank you, everyone. Thank you very much.